Namaste and welcome. Today we're diving into ancient India's premier masterclass in survival, statecraft, and strategy. Now you've probably heard of the Panchatantra. It's been famous for centuries for its animal fables. But in this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers. We are unlocking the brilliant, clinical precision of the strategic wisdom that's hidden just beneath the surface.
Okay, let's dive into this. You look at this crest, the lion, the monkey, the tortoise. To the untrained eye, it's just a cute jungle tale, right? But to a student of statecraft, these animal allegories are actually a Trojan horse. They are carefully designed vessels meant to deliver incredibly complex lessons on human nature, the fragility of alliances, and the brutal realities of political survival, all without the listener even realizing they're being taught. It's pretty genius.
Here's our roadmap for today's masterclass. 1. Statecraft cloaked in fable. 2. Case I. Loss of gains. 3. Case I. Acting without thinking. 4. The diagnostic matrix. And 5. The timeless legacy of Niti.
Section 1. Statecraft cloaked in fable.
So every great text usually solves a specific problem. The problem here? King Amara Shakti. He had 3 dull-witted sons who were completely unsuited for the complexities of royal succession. They showed absolutely zero aptitude for conventional teaching. Enter our scholar, Vishnu Sharma. He pulls off this brilliant pedagogical pivot. He refuses standard rewards, totally abandons rote memorization, and instead he uses engaging animal narratives to cure their political vulnerability. And the result? It's kind of amazing. In just 6 months, the princes are transformed into highly capable, wise leaders.
The core of what Vishnu Sharma was teaching them is a concept called Niti Shastra. Basically, this is the ancient Indian science of wise conduct and political strategy. But the true goal of this explainer is to extract that niti, that wisdom. We're going to see that merely knowing what is right, it's never enough. True mastery requires the immense presence of mind to actually apply it when your survival is literally on the line.
Section 2. Case I. Loss of gains.
In Sanskrit, this specific strategic concept is known as labdha. It deals directly with the really perilous loss of previously acquired gains. Assets you already hold, but squander through sheer greed or overreaching ambition. We're going to observe exactly how an established, highly beneficial asset is completely obliterated.
Let me set the stage for you. Here we have a classic, sweet alliance. Up on the riverbank, we've got a clever monkey named Rakta. He controls a really valuable resource, a mango tree that drops endless sweet fruit. Down in the water is the ambitious crocodile, Karla. They form this mutually beneficial cross-species friendship. The crocodile gets daily nourishment and a massive status boost by taking these delicious fruits home to his wife, and the two become the closest of allies.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the profound contrast. On one side, we have the foundation of a rock-solid diplomatic asset built on shared resources. But on the other, a fatal external pressure is introduced. The crocodile's wife tastes these sweet mangoes and makes a greedy, completely absurd demand. She wants to eat the monkey's heart, assuming it just has to be even sweeter than the fruit. She even threatens to starve herself to death if she doesn't get it. So, Karela is suddenly facing this impossible choice between matrimonial pressure and diplomatic loyalty. Tragically, he caves. He chooses his wife, invites his trusted friend for a ride across the river for a fake thank you feast, and completely weaponizes their trust.
The tension hits its absolute peak right in the middle of the river. The crocodile, totally believing he has the ultimate physical advantage, reveals his lethal intent to the monkey, who, by the way, cannot swim. But look at Raktamuka's brilliant cognitive pivot. He maintains strict emotional regulation. He doesn't panic at all. Instead, he appeals to pure logic. He tells the foolish crocodile, wait, how can someone take out his heart and keep it somewhere else? I left my heart safely in the hollow of the tree. The crocodile, clearly lacking intellectual agility here, falls for the misdirection completely. He swims back to the shore, the monkey leaps to safety, and that alliance is severed forever.
As the text teaches us, cleverness and a sharp brain can rescue you from hazardous situations. Think about the ultimate cost here. Karla succumbed to irrational ambition. Because his strategic deceit was so easily countered by rapid, logical misdirection, he didn't just lose his greatest diplomatic ally, he lost his daily food supply, a total, absolute loss of gains.
Section 3. Case 2. Acting without thinking.
This concept is aparikshita. It warns us against the absolute perils of impulsive actions, acting without foresight. The tragedy you're about to see isn't born from an external betrayal like the last one.
No, this is a deeply self-inflicted wound born of pure ego. Meet our next protagonists. We have Kumbhagriva, the tortoise, and his two highly pragmatic geese allies, Sanket and Viket. Now, they're facing a severe environmental threat. A devastating drought has completely dried up their lake, forcing them into a high-risk migration strategy. The tortoise can't fly, obviously, so he relies entirely on his stronger allies who can.
So the geese design what seems like a flawless survival pact. They introduce this ingenious mechanism. The tortoise will bite down hard on the center of a stick, and the geese will fly holding either end. But this entire system relies on a single point of failure, a strict conditional clause. They tell him he absolutely must maintain complete oral restraint. He cannot utter a single word during the journey. Silence, in this case, means literal survival.
And you know what? The plan works perfectly, until they re-enter society. As they fly over a village, people on the ground look up, point, and start laughing at the weird sight, misattributing all the credit to the clever birds. This social mockery creates immense psychological friction for the tortoise. His fragile ego is provoked. Unable to curb his anger against these lesser critics, he opens his mouth to retaliate, and in doing so, he breaks the mechanical link of the strategy and plummets to his death instantly. So the crucial point is summarized in this really powerful synthesis. Self-control and knowing when to remain silent is important to win. Kumbhagriva had the perfect plan, he had perfect allies, but the whole shebang was dismantled by a momentary lapse in emotional regulation. Valuing the insult over the ultimate goal, that is a fatal error in leadership.
Section 4. The Diagnostic Matrix.
We're essentially looking at an intellectual deficit versus an emotional deficit. The fundamental flaw of the crocodile was cognitive. He simply wasn't clever enough to sustain a lie or see through the monkey's rapid logic. The tortoise's flaw, on the other hand, was purely psychological. He was intelligent enough to agree to the plan, sure, but he wasn't disciplined enough to stay silent when his ego was bruised. And this brilliantly illustrates the distinct dimensions of Niti. On one side, under Labdha Pranasham, the threat is internal betrayal, and the lesson is that intellect and rapid misdirection conquer brute force. On the other side, under Apairakshitikarakam, the threat is environmental pressure and social mockery, and the lesson is that a lack of emotional discipline will destroy even the best laid plans. It's just a perfect, holistic diagnostic of strategic failure.
Section 5. The Timeless Legacy of Niti.
The Panchatantra remains one of the most translated secular texts in human history. From ancient Sanskrit to Persian, it directly influenced the fables of Aesop and the Brothers Grimm, and it has this incredible global legacy precisely because it goes so far beyond just being a fable. The human susceptibility to greed, the fragility of trust, the tension between intellect and impulse, these elements of human nature remain completely, profoundly unchanged across the centuries. Which brings me to the ultimate lesson Vishnu Sharma sought to teach those young princes so long ago. I want to leave you with this to ponder in your own daily lives, your businesses, and your relationships. True wisdom, Niti, is not just knowing what is right. The real question is, do you possess the emotional discipline and the presence of mind to actually apply it when your very survival demands it? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Until next time, stay wise.